It's noisy. It's crowded. Sometimes it's even a little dangerous. But it's also one of the most exciting and beautiful cities I've ever explored solo. Welcome to Marrakesh. I visited in March, joining a G Adventures group tour before finding the courage to explore alone. And I want to share the places I loved, the things I wish I'd known, and a very special experience. So stick around to the end. My group of 10 was staying in a riad in the heart of the Medina. One of my major worries was being able to actually find it on my own once the taxi had dropped me off. But luckily, Google Maps worked, and my riad was well signposted, and I quickly met quite a few of the locals. A riad is a traditional Moroccan house built around an enclosed courtyard or garden. Many have been converted into holiday accommodation, and mine was a wonderful retreat from the bustle of the city, and I love my tiny corner room. And time spent enjoying the rooftop seating with views out towards the Atlas Mountains. It was at the riad where I met the group, and we took a cooking class, learning how to make tangia, a delicious and simple meal with just 6 ingredients placed into pots, which we then took to a communal oven. We would pick them up the next day. Our first walking tour took us to Patisserie Belkabir, to choose sweet treats to take to a rooftop cafe overlooking the famous square Jemaa el-Fnaa. Where I enjoyed mine with a glass of Moroccan mint tea. We started bright and early the next day. Well, some of us did. Taking a walking tour with our guide, who took us through the souks in the Medina, the UNESCO-listed walled city and historic heart of Marrakesh. There are 19 kilometers of wall here dating back to 1122. There's so much to look at here, and you never know what or who you're going to see. Leaving the souk briefly, our group was offered the chance to try snails, a popular street food eaten with a toothpick. Then there was a change of pace as we entered the serenity of the Bahia Palace. Built in the late 19th century, it took over 10 years to complete and is a delightful collection of courtyards and gardens. The name Bahia means brilliance in Arabic, and I loved seeing the stunning ceilings, which reminded me of my recent trip to the Alhambra in Granada. Unfortunately, the palace was badly damaged in the 2023 earthquake and is still undergoing restoration work today. We then walked further into the Medina to find the Jardin Secret, a gem of a place with a really intimate feel. It's hard to believe that this little paradise is right in the heart of the busy Medina. It's so tranquil. A rooftop cafe provides a moment to relax with lovely views. But we couldn't be too long as we had to collect our Tangia pots. This This was so exciting and gave us a real flavour of local life, especially as we bought fresh bread on the way back to the Riad. We also had another local treat while at the Riad, having our hands tattooed with henna. Here's my lovely design, while fresh and dry. The next day, it was time for me to leave the safety of the group and explore on my own. And the first place I visited was the Ben Youssef Madrasa. I got here just after 9 and it was already very busy, but it's definitely worth visiting. Built in the 16th century, this was a place for scholars and students, and its sumptuous architectural details are a joy to look at, with lace-like stucco, the geometric patterns of the tiles, and the script of sacred text carved into the plaster to enlighten and inspire. What's particularly wonderful about this place is that you're able to explore many of the 132 student rooms and get a feel of what it must have been like to live and study here. But if this place is a little too crowded for you, try the Marrakesh Museum, which is very close by. The museum is housed in a palace dating from the late 19th century, and there are some beautiful rooms leading off the main courtyard, each filled with treasures. This is just the kind of place I love to discover, and I particularly enjoyed looking at the jewellery. And you'll see similar pieces for sale in the Medina today. It was finally time to explore the Medina by myself. I was a little nervous about tackling this, and I did find it a little daunting with the constant threat from speeding mopeds in the narrow streets. But there were plenty of signs to help me navigate my way, which really helped to calm me down. And there were so many cats, some of which will break your heart. And is this an Amazon Prime delivery, Marrakesh style? Another place I successfully found on my own was the Badi Palace. It was pretty hot in the afternoon and there wasn't a lot of shade here, but it was definitely worth the walk across town. Built in 1578 by the ruler of the Sardian dynasty, this place is vast. It's said to have 360 rooms and was once the centre of political and cultural life, with fabulous parties taking place in the central courtyard, where you can see the sunken gardens and enormous pools. The scent from the orange blossom in the sunshine was intoxicating. took a few moments to watch today's inhabitants, the wild storks who nest high on the walls of the palace. One place I still had to explore properly on my own was Jemaa el-Fnaa, the lively main square in Marrakesh. It can be a bit overwhelming with the noise from the snake charmers, musicians and stall holders calling for your attention. And it isn't pedestrianised, so you do need to take care. But there is so much to enjoy here. I loved how the tourists and locals jostled together. And I took a moment to enjoy a meal at one of the many rooftop cafes here. I then crossed one of the most chaotic roads I've ever seen. The traffic doesn't stop, so do what I did and follow the locals' lead. I wanted to take a closer look at the Koutoubia Mosque. It's visible right across the city and is lovely from any angle. You can't go inside, but you can enjoy the gardens nearby. The cool mornings and hot afternoons were followed by stormy nights with thunder and lightning. The sound of thunder combining with a call to prayer is something I'll never forget. And if you're wondering what happens in Riad when it rains, well, the courtyard gets very wet. My final full day began leaving the Riad with my G Adventures guide Hamid at 4:45 in the morning. There were a surprising number of people already at work, and we were even offered tea by one vendor. I was here for a pickup to take me out of town to a remote location en route to the Atlas Mountains for a very special treat. My first ever hot air balloon ride. There were quite a few of us, and we were split into groups and given instructions by our pilot before making our way across to where the balloons were being prepared. This has to be one of the most magical sights ever, and excitement was definitely at an all-time high as I realised that I'd soon be climbing into one of the baskets. Made friends with 3 others, and we were grouped together to share one of the basket's compartments. Once inside, you sit on a low bench while a team of men hold the basket until everything is ready for takeoff. What a joy. The balloon rose so fast into the brightening sky. We were so lucky with a clear morning and our view of the Atlas Mountains.
Look at the Atlas. So clear today.
Yeah.
Atlas Mountain is very beautiful today. Not every time it happens.
We're lucky.
Brilliant.
And the sunrise made everything and everyone glow. This truly was a perfect end to a brief but very special trip. There'd been moments of chaos with the traffic in the Medina and moments of panic when I got a little lost. But I saw so many wonderful things during my first visit to this continent and feel so very grateful.